So, do you want to gain free LP with little to no effort? Well, you're in luck because I, Exterior Chichu, Warwick Reroll, and this video will cover the strongest items, strongest units, and strongest augments. My voice sounds pretty bad at the moment since I'm sick, so hopefully you can bear with it. The best and slot items to build on Warwick would be to have Vampire Acceptor. This item is actually very cracked on him. And yes, I know it's an orange artifact item, but if you get this item on him, it's like 2+ placements up, since this item gives him everything he needs since he doesn't cast ability, so it makes his Omni Vamp even more than it already is. And since he's a frontline unit, you need some defense with some damage, so Titans is a very good item for that. I would say this is probably like his best items you can actually build. And the third item doesn't really matter, like Gwynsu's Rage Blade is pretty good too, or QSS, but I would say Gwynsu's will probably be the best since your fights are going to last a long time anyways, so he can wrap up that extra attack speed to do more damage. Bloodthirster is a no-go. That item, no good on Warwick, because he already has built-in Omni Vamp, and the item doesn't really do anything for him. Items he can flex around would be like Edge of Night. If you can build Titans, this is pretty good for that. Steric's Gauge is a pretty good item to get rid of your swords, and it's pretty good for melee units. And then like I said earlier, QSS is also a good item at work. Other artifact items you can use would be like Rapid Fire Cannon, Death Defiance, or even Prowler's Claw. Your backline DPS would be Twitch, and honestly any item will work on him because you're focusing more on work items. So basically for Twitch, whatever swords you have, you can just get rid of it and give it to Twitch. But his best in slot would be to have Infinity Edge, Red Buff for anti-heal, and then Renan's Hurricane for extra damage on the board. And Twitch and Warwick synergize really well since Twitch is an armor break unit and Warwick is an auto attack user that does physical damage. So these two together are actually really powerful. The items you can flex around Twitch would be like Blue Buff if you need to get rid of your tiers, or if you have two, for example, you just put Blue Buff on Twitch and it works really well since his mana pool is 30. It'll make it go down to 20 so you can keep casting over and over. Or you can build other items such as Rage Blade, Last Whisper, Death Blade, like any item you could just throw at him, it doesn't really matter. And good artifact items on Twitch would be like Silver Mirror, Cyber's Focus, Mirror Mana. For your tank, it would be Blitzcrank because he's also a 1-cost unit with Warwick. You can easily 3-star all of these 3 units. And his best in slot, it's kind of mandatory to build this item because since you have 2 physical damage units, having this item will help a lot. Even Shroud on Blitzcrank so you can do extra damage on the board. Redemption is good on him because you're playing mostly Guardians, so you can heal everything on the board. If you don't have a red buff, Sunfire on Blitz would be good for that too. Items you can flex around if you need to get rid of your rods, Crown Guard's good, or good tank items such as Protector's Vow, Steadfast Heart, or even Warmonks is fine. And good artifact items on him is like Eternal Winter or Spirit. Generally, for Blitzcrank, any tick item is good. And for emblems, the best ones you could choose for would be like either Frost emblems or Guardian emblems. It doesn't really matter, in all honesty, like it's either just good for +1 so you can like tempo faster. For our units, for early game, we play Warwick, Blitzcrank, Twitch, and Zillion because this gives us 3 Frost with 2 Vanguard. And then this is the way you want to position them. You always kind of want to position like this majority of the game because Twitch will armor break whoever is next to Warwick, so Warwick can do damage to that. Unless you have an even shot already on Blitzcrank, then I guess he could position Warwick wherever. But this position will probably be the best position you can do. And then right position, same thing on the other side. So you can position right or left depending on how you want to do it early game. Try to save HP as much as you can by win streaking. Or you can like lose streak as well if you want to, but I prefer win streaking. Over time, you would add your Guardian units, and then you swap Zillion for Olaf later, and level 9 you just throw in Xerath. And this is how the full board would look like. You just have everything basically in the front line, and then Olaf in the second row with a gap in the middle so you can jump through that, and then Twitch on the same side of Warwick, and Xerath is just on the opposite side. And this is basically the default way to play Warwick. Pretty easy. First item slabs you want to do would be like either Titans, Rage Blade, QSS, or tank items such as Even Shroud, Redemption, and Sunfire. These items are really good to like win streak early. For our augments, the best augments order you can choose from would be like an item or combat, and then combat or item, and then third augment could be literally anything you would need to keep winning with. So the best augments to choose for item would be Portable Forge, since you can only use any Portable Forge item for your comp. Same thing with Living Forge, it's basically Portable Forge, but every 10 rounds you get an ord item. You have my bow, says you need a lot of bows. Unleash the Beast is very powerful on Warwick, and Anger Issues is honestly one of the highest win rate augments for Warwick. For our combat augments, Spread the Weights is really good because it gives you move speed and attack speed. Speaking of attack speed, Mentorship is good for that on Warwick. Since you're playing a lot of Guardians, Shield Tips is really powerful for Warwick. And speaking of Warwick, Find Your Center is very powerful to buff him. So if you can get this augment, it'll be pretty good for Warwick. Ascension, because your fights are lasting almost forever. So having this augment allows you to get more damage for your board. Tiny but Deadly is basically the same thing as Featherweights, but a prismatic version of it. The playstyle you want to do for this comp would be slow rolling. So basically, you want to pick up all your units that you would need as you are playing per round. So find all the Warwicks you can, Twitch you can, Blitzcranks you can. Don't worry about the other units because if you try to pick up the other Guardian units such as like Galio and Rumble, you're wasting too much gold holding on to them. It's better just to pick up the important units. And then at stage 3-1, which is right after Krugs, you roll down all your gold down to specifically 32 gold. The reason why is because in 2 turns you could easily make 50 gold. The math behind it is basically like this. Because every 10 gold you gain 1 gold investment, 30 gold gives you 3 gold investment. For every turn you also get plus 5. So if you have 32 gold, you make 32 to 40 gold because you get plus 8. The next turn after that, you get plus 50 right there. And then by the time you build up to 50 gold, then you just keep slow rolling with 50 gold for your units. Whenever you get Warwick 3, just fast level to 8 as fast as you can. And then by the time you get 8, you just roll for upgrades. If you are strong enough, then just hit level 9 and throw in a Zeraf, or if you can't find Zeraf, you can just throw in any Arcana unit like Hecarim or Ari. For our gameplay video, we have our first augments to choose from. We have Escort Quest, 2 Healthy, and Potable Forge. Potable Forge is almost like a must click, but we are deciding if we want it or not, so we're gonna roll our Escort Quest and our 2 Healthy. And we rolled it for Unleash the Beast, Replicant, and then we also rolled the Ord Artifact item for Unleash the Beast because it's more safe for me in my opinion. So I can actually like start probably win streaking with this item since this item is very powerful for work. But in most cases scenario, you would want to have the Ord Artifact item. And since the reason why I chose Unleash the Beast is because we could actually slam a Titans here. So that's the reason why I did it. And our current board is a Twitch, Warwick, and a Blitzcrank. As you see here, we have 13 gold, and all this is total of 19 gold. If we win this turn, which we most likely did, we're gonna make 20 gold. And the reason why we want to pivot a lot of the 1-cost units here is because it makes the pool smaller, so we can find our Twitch and Works easier, so we can 3-star them faster. But because we win this turn, we decided to sell all these units so we can make plus 20. Always make intervals of 10 gold, so you can actually roll for your units later. As you see here, we're currently on a 4 win streak, and we're gonna roll down to 32 gold to look for our units. So we roll down to 32 gold, and we almost have a Blitzcrank 3. The reason why you want to stop at 32 gold is because after this turn, we're gonna make 40 gold. After 40 gold, we can make possibly 50 if we win or sell something. For our second augment, we have Spellblades, which we don't need because we're not playing AP. We have Rating Gold, which we also don't need because we don't need Econ. You have my bow, but we don't need it because as you see here, we already have Titans plus 1 bow. So we decided to take Unified Resistance so we can get extra combat stuff. And then we're deciding to roll down for our Blitzcrank 3 so we can tempo with this. And we just throw out whatever we can. And as you may notice here, we're also win streaking with 5 streak, and we're still healthy with 96 gold. The main reason why we're winning because we took Unleash the Beast on Warwick. This actually helps us a lot to keep winning. That's the reason why I took the Unleash the Beast over the Portable Forge. But Portable Forge is still a good choice too. Finally, for our third augment, we got Stand United, which we don't need because we're not playing a lot of synergies. There's also Vertical Incline, which is not bad, but I don't like it personally. Then we got Wind Tears coming, which we don't need because we're not playing Frost. There's also a Combat Caster, which we also don't really need because Warwick doesn't cast. And then we just chose Avenge the Fallen because this augment is actually really powerful, so this is one of the meta augments. And as you see here, we finally hit our Warwick 3, we still have our Blitz 3, and almost a Twitch 3, but we're gonna get Twitch 3 at level 8 instead. Because if we keep rolling here, we're just gonna lose harder and harder. So therefore, we need to tempo to 8 so we can try to win off that. Also, another big thing to note is backline level 2 isn't too bad since they are in the back not taking a lot of damage. All they have to do is just dish out damage. So level 2 Twitch is fine. As long as you get Warwick 3 and Blitz 3, it's the 2 that matters the most. And then over time, you want to like position against people. Like for example here, as you see, my Warwick's position against the Rise, and this is actually really good because Rise does a lot of damage. So you want to position Warwick in a spot where he can kill the DPS as fast as he can. And then as you see here, positioning, we have Warwick with Twitch, always put them side by side. And since this is the final round, we're trying to look back and forth to the position against the Rise. But unfortunately, I was too slow and he swapped just in the last second. So we'll see if we could win or not. This fight looks pretty close, but as we can tell, I kinda ended up losing anyways because our positioning is worse than his. But the good thing to note here is that even though I did got a top 2, to note that even though we have not that good items compared to the BIS I listed before, you can still play Warwick in almost most positions if you choose the decent augments and if you can roll Warwick 3 fast enough. And that is it for my easy comp free LP guide, aka Warwick Reroll. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comment section down below. I'll try to answer to the best of my capabilities. Until then, I'll see you in the next one. Later.